All right, good morning again, everybody. This is the second session for the Fundamentals of Theory 1, Session 2. We are starting on page 6. We just did about a half an hour session about the first couple pages to get up to this point. Please check that out because you will need to know that information to do this information. A quick review of, again, kind of how to navigate in here. You want to use the Draw tab up here, and you want to have the red pen selected. Red's the easiest for me because I can see that obviously on a black background pretty easily. If you use black, it's just harder for me to see it. So if you could please select the red marker or red pen, whatever, it makes it a lot easier for me. Okay. If you make, obviously a huge error in marks right here, the best way to get rid of that is Control Z. That's your undo button. I think you can, figure out the undo or push these buttons up here, but that's navigating away. I have my right hand on my mouse, my left hand on my keyboard, so I can kind of fly through stuff pretty quickly. Another way to do that too, if you make a stray mark, you can get the erasing button. That's this button right here. Drag it. Whoops. It's not letting me select it, of course. Normally you select the erase button and then you just drag the eraser over. If it's not doing that, oh, now it's finally doing it. So do that real quick. And I'm going to get back to there, grab this and erase over it. You can also click on this and actually just click somewhere on the red and it'll erase it. But again, that's the long way to do it. If you draw, if you draw a mark here, Control Z, it erases it immediately. Okay. So we are starting with page 6. Here we go. The time signature, which is also called the meter signature. FYI, I've never heard it called the meter signature. I always have heard it called the time signature. That is placed on the staff following the clef signs. The top number always tells you how many beats in a measure. The bottom number always tells you what kind of note receives 1 beat. A 4 is used to designate a quarter note. So here's an example. 2 beats per measure, quarter note receives the beat. The best way to figure out, like, why is this 4 here? Like, I don't understand how this equates to a 4 other than it just telling me. If you think of this like a fraction, how would you say that? 2/4. Another way to say it is 2/4, right? That's how they get that quarter here. Just as an example for some other more advanced time signatures, if you're already seeing that or used to seeing that, 6/8 time, right? How would you say that? 6/8. So 6 beats per measure, 1/8 that gets the beat. It works for any time signature to say it that way. But again, if you think of it like a fraction, 2 quarter notes, that pretty much gives you the answers. 2 beats per measure, quarter note gets the beat, or receives 1 beat is what it's saying here. Okay, moving on. There is no line between the two numbers like a fraction. I know it. I just said that it was like a fraction, but you don't actually draw the line there. But the line you see is part of the staff. Explain how many beats are in these time signatures and what kind of note gets 1 beat. Okay, so again, 4/4 time, 4 quarters, 4 beats per measure. Quarter note gets the beat. Now, yes, you are going to have to draw this out or actually spell this out. I'm sorry, it takes time. If you're not great at it, please make it as legible as you can. But what I will accept once you draw this in here and it's correct, just do quotations for this, because that'll mean that you would only have to draw that instead of actually writing out quarter. If you want to write out quarter 2 more times, that's fine. But as you can see, the bottom number is 4 here. It's also 4 here. It's also 4 here. So it's the same for every single one of those. Okay. The only thing that changes is the number on the top. So this is 4 quarter notes. This is 3 quarter notes. This is 2 quarter notes. So remember that this is like a fraction. You say this as 4 quarters or 4/4, 4 quarter notes. Okay. When writing the counts in a measure, you check the top number of the time signature to see how many counts are present in the measure, and then the bottom number to see what kind of note is receiving 1 count. Then you divide up the possible numbers and place them under each note in the measure to represent the note's duration. If there is more than 1 number for a note, the first number must go under the note and the others just to the right of it. So as you can see, this is, we know that a half note is worth 2 counts. So as you can see, it's kind of connected here, right? Well, the 2 is like right next to this 1. What I like to do for this is put a little dash between those two like this. It's going to be really hard to do this because it's really small, but as I'm doing it, I put a dash there just to kind of tie those two things together. If you do it like this, where the number is just directly to the right of it, I'll figure it out, but I like to use the dash because I can't always make it, you know, super close like this. It looks really awkward, so I just do that. Now I know that those two are kind of connected together. Okay, each quarter note gets one, so as you can see here, the time signature is 3/4, so that means I have 3 beats in the measure. Quarter note gets the beat. So each one of these quarter notes receives 1 beat, and there it is, 1, 2, 3. There's 3 beats, and all of those are denoted there. When I get to this one, again, this is worth 2 beats, so I'm going to say this is worth counts 1 and 2. And then this hanger quarter note over here, that's the 3rd beat. I always have to represent 3 beats per measure because the time signature is specifically telling me I have to have 3 beats in there. Okay, it's kind of like a math problem where, you know, it has to equal that. It has to be perfect. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. It's illogical or whatever the irrational. You know, I'm not that great at that upper level math, but I mean, this is pretty much just fractions and adding stuff, right? So that's the first 2 examples. Dotted half note, we know that's worth 3. So as you can see, all 3 of the counts here are right next to each other to say that that is, you know, all 3 counts are within this big dotted quarter note, or dotted half note, excuse me. Okay, and then this one, 1 for the quarter note, 2 and 3 for this half note. Okay. When you're looking at this too, let me just do a little quick clapping example. If this is my pulse, hopefully you guys can hear my foot stomps here. Okay, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm done at the end. When I'm doing percussive claps like that, these longer tones kind of sound the same as these. But if you're on a wind instrument or a string instrument or anything that sustains tone, so hey, percussionists, if you're on like a vibraphone or marimba or even like a timpani or something that can actually sustain some sound, that's what this would sound like. Here's my beat again. Da, 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 right? I'm sustaining through these rhythms, so I actually take up 2 counts of space, right? That's what this means when it's saying it takes up 2 counts. I'm singing it or playing it or striking the drum and letting it ring for 2 counts or 3 counts or however many counts it's telling me to do it. Okay. All right. From past classes, I will say that the counting part for most people is where you lose the most points. So if you're not sure of how to count, this is a great way to describe how to do it. So, you know, make sure you review this as much as you need to get these counts correct. So I'm going to do this first example here. I'm going to leave these 2 for you guys to do here. Hopefully you can figure it out. Okay. Write the counts under these measures of music. Make sure you check the top number for each line. So this is in 2/4, and let's actually do this. I'm going to do the bottom example first, since that one has 4 beats. It's 2/4 is too easy. So let's do this one down here. So you guys are going to do actually these right there. Okay, but I'm going to do this one down here. 4/4, 4 beats per measure. Quarter note gets the beat because again, 4 quarters, right? So I have quarter notes here. Each one of these are going to be worth 1 count apiece. So there's my 1, 2, 3. There we go, and 4. Next measure. So my counting starts over. As soon as this measure line hits, I start my counting over again on 1. Okay, so I know that half notes are worth 2, so I'm going to go 1-2. I know it's an extra line to draw again if you want to do it like this, where it's just right next to it. That's acceptable. Both of those answers are acceptable, either with the dash or without it, but make sure that that second number is right next to the first number if you're going to do it this way. However, I'd recommend doing it this way because it just mentally connects those 2 counts, makes it easier to see. Okay, dotted half note, that's worth 3 counts. So it starts on count 1 and it takes up all 3 of these. So 1, 2, 3. I still have to, again, account for my last count here, right? So there's my count 4. Again, another measure of quarter notes. That's super easy. And now I'm to my whole note. I know that's worth 4 counts. 1-2-3-4. Piece of cake. Okay. The quick thing for time signatures. If for some reason, let me really quickly just erase this measure. This is a good example measure to do this. Oh no, what did I just do? There we go. Okay. So let's say that I'm on this and I get to here and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, this is gonna be, obviously a mistake, but let's say that I think that that's worth 4. Okay, that's on count 5. This is impossible. Why is it impossible? Because there's only supposed to be 4 counts in this measure. If you somehow magic a number 5 in there, you've made a mistake somewhere, okay, and you need to fix that because it is incorrect. However, the more common example is that somebody will do this, right? 1, 2, and then this comes in on count 3. That is also incorrect. Why? Where's count 4? I have to show where count 4 is in here, otherwise it's incorrect. Okay. So if you somehow, get to this, it's in 4-4, you only do like 2 or 3 counts, and you're like, it's close enough. No, it is not close enough. You must show where all 4 counts are for it to, number 1, be correct, and number 2, if you're playing this with a group of, 2 other people, 5 other people, 70 other people, you're going to be a count ahead if you do this, right? So it is really important that you do the counts correctly. And there it is. This is worth 3. This is worth 1. Okay. Now, you will use the same concepts for these 2 time signatures up here, but remember, I only can account for 3 counts here. So if you somehow magic a 4 into this time signature, it is wrong. If you only get up to count 2 and you don't find a count 3, it is wrong. You have to account for all 3 counts for this whole line right here, right? And the same thing here for 2-4. This one's easy because it's only 2 counts long, right? If you somehow magic a count 3 or a count 4 for this 2-4 measure, set of measures, it is wrong. Please make sure you understand this. This is kind of the fundamental, foundational thing that you need to do, in order to read music, right? So hopefully this makes sense. If you have questions, obviously, please ask. Shoot me a message in Teams or shoot me an email, whatever. Okay, this is really important that you understand how this works. And these are pretty easy examples to start with because they're all, each worth a count or more. It starts to get kind of weird when you get to fractions of a beat, like 1/8 notes in 4/4, 3/4, 2/4. That's where more mistakes happen because you're having to get to fractions of a beat. But for this type of thing where they're all worth 1 or more, I think it's pretty easy. So hopefully you understand this. Let's move on. Okay. A sharp is a musical symbol which raises the pitch of a note half step higher in sound. A flat is a musical symbol which lowers the pitch of a note a half step in sound. So this, again, sharp sign means go up. A flat sign means you go down. Okay. If you're having a really hard time remembering which one, if you have a flat tire or 4 flat tires on your car, what happens to your car? It goes down, right? The height of your car literally goes down to the street level, right? A sharp sign, I don't know, if you ever like cut your finger with a knife or something, a really sharp, a sharp knife, your eyebrows probably go up because it's like, ooh, that really stings or whatever. Okay, probably a bad analogy, but the flat one, that's a pretty easy one. 4 flat tires, the car goes down, flat, down, okay? All right, the word dynamics is used to refer to other words which indicate how loud or soft to sing or play. Italian words are used to tell you how loud or soft to sing or play. The Italian word forte, abbreviated F, means to sing or play with a loud tone. I think the translation for this is strong, but yeah, loud, strong, big, that sort of thing. The Italian word piano, abbreviated P, means to sing or play with a soft tone. The word mezzo, abbreviated with an M, often precedes forte and piano. It means medium in Italian. So therefore, MF means medium loud. MP means medium soft. All right, so I'm going to let you guys fill this in because you definitely need to know this information for the test, okay? But all the information that you need to figure that out is in that paragraph right there. All right, legato is the Italian word that tells you to sing or play smoothly and connected. It is indicated by a curved line over or under a group of notes called a slur. These groups of notes are called phrases. A phrase is a musical sentence. You can often recognize the ending of a phrase by a rest at the end of the measure or a longer note value which mark the natural resting places in the music. Phrases are usually 4 measures in length. So here's a good example of what a slur looks like. This again, you're kind of combining all these notes together in one breath, okay, or one idea. It's a phrase, okay? So for here, add slurs to the following group of notes. I'm going to start on the first note like this, and I go all the way to the last note like that. That is literally all you have to do for this. Easiest one in the world to do. Same thing here, starting on the first note, go to the last note, there's my phrase mark, my slur mark, whatever, okay? And the best translation for how you're doing this is you want to make sure you connect all these notes, keep it legato as it says right here. If you're a wind instrument, you want to play this on one breath, for example, and connect all the notes. You don't want your tongue to interrupt anything because that means you're stopping the air, stopping the smoothness of the tone with your tongue. You don't do that. For string players, this is a little harder to do because obviously your bow length is only so long, right? And if this piece is at like, quarter note equals 60 beats per minute, to play this, that's going to be really hard to do on one bow length, but usually string phrases are a little bit shorter than this, and that just means to play all of this on a down bow or on an up bow, whatever direction you're doing. But if it's slow, you have to do some other creative things to make it still sound legato like this, but this is more for winds and brass. You usually see phrases of this length, okay? Okay, this information down here, I'll let you fill that in, and that information is in this paragraph right there. Okay. Okay. The Italian word staccato is the word meaning to play or sing in a short and detached manner. It is indicated by a dot above or below a note. The example are these two notes right here. So as you can see, there's a dot here and a dot here. Circle the notes below which are to be played or sung staccato. All right, so this is pretty easy. If it has a dot, circle it. Okay. I'm going to let you all do this chunk of stuff right here, but it should be really obvious which ones are staccato and which ones are not, okay? All right. A curved line connecting two notes on the same line or space is called a tie. You sing or play only the first note and let it sound for the length of both notes. A tie is like a plus sign in math. Remember, a curved line that connects two or more notes on different lines or spaces is called a slur. Mark T for tied notes and an S for slurred notes under these pairs of notes, okay? So a quick explanation for what ties are. This is an example of a tie, so I'm going to use a T right there. Whenever you see something like this, it's like a quarter note plus a quarter note, and it is, quote, like a half note. Why is it like a half note? Because this is worth 2 beats, this is worth 1 beat, this is worth 1 beat, 1 plus 1 is 2. So it's like a half note. Okay, or if it's for this one, like for example, down here, let me erase all this. Looking at this one now, 2 half notes. This one's worth 2, this one's worth 2. The whole duration is going to be 4, so it's like a whole note. Okay, that's what ties are like. It's just a plus sign to add 2 notes together. Now, sometimes you'll have this in the same measure, but more commonly, you may want to do like, you want to sustain for 4 beats, but you want to do it over a measure line, for example. So that's the most common place that you see ties is across a measure, because you want to sustain the tone from one measure to the next, but mathematically you can't do that because it has to end at the measure line, right? So anyway, this is that's kind of an advanced concept to be thinking about, but for what you're doing here, a T for tied notes, a S for slurred notes. If it's different notes, like this is an E and this is a D, that's a slur. This is a B, this is a B, it's the same, that's a tie. This is a slur, we've already identified that this is a tie. So I'll let you guys try to figure out this one and this one. Hopefully you can figure it out pretty easily. Okay, ritardando abbreviated RIT means to sing or play gradually slower. You will see it abbreviated most often. So whenever you see RIT, it just means to sing or play gradually slower, okay? All right, match these definitions to the correct word using the definitions from pages 7 and 8. Put the correct number in the blank. Okay, I'm going to let you guys do all of this because this is a great review for all the terms that we just went through, right? So all this information is on page 8, page 7, and I think some information is prior to that on page 6 or whatnot, but this is a great way to review, what is this stuff? And what I would say is, first go through this. Words indicating how loud or soft. If you know what this is, write in the number right away. Go through and do the ones that you know, and then any ones that you don't know, refer back up to here. Like, okay, legato means to say singer plays smoothly and connected. Okay, I didn't know what that is. We gotta find a playing smooth or connected. So that's my legato one. Where is that? Number 3. So if I didn't know that, that's what I would do. I'm looking for, you know, smooth and connected, or you can actually look for the word too if you don't know, you know, the ones that you didn't select. You guys know how to do this type of thing, but I'll let you do this whole chart because this is important that you know this information, okay? All right. So we already learned about what these notes or what these symbols are. Now we're actually going to practice writing them and creating them, okay? So a sharp raises the pitch of the note half a step higher in sound. A note which has been sharped moves one key to the right on a piano. The middle square of the sharp goes on the same line or space as the note itself. It is placed to the left in front of the note. Okay, so here is an example of what it looks like. So this is a D, every good boy does, right? This is the sharp sign that makes it sharp. As you can see, I'm going to zoom in a lot so we can really analyze what this is. Sorry, it does this where it jumps way ahead. Okay, so as you can see, what it means by the interior or the middle square is this guy right here. Okay, the middle part of this, as you can see, the line is going right through the middle of it, and that means that it belongs on that line. If it were on a space, let me draw an example of that. As you can see, the interior square is very obviously on this first space. So when you're doing this, you have to make sure the middle of the square is very clearly in the space or very clearly on the line. It has to do that because if you draw a sharp sign like this, for example, I have no idea what that belongs to. It could be an A, it could be a G, it could be an F, maybe even an E because it's kind of touching it, right? You have to make sure that it is exactly where you want it to be. All right, let me zoom back down here. Perfect, here we go. Okay, write a sharp in front or to the left of each note exactly on the same line or space as the note. So remember, this is not an example like you actually have to do this chunk of stuff right here. A lot of students in previous classes missed this because they automatically jumped down to here. So this is where you're actually practice drawing the sharp signs here. So here's what you're going to do. It is a hashtag sign or a pound sign, and you're just drawing it right in front of the note. It's pretty easy. Okay. All right, so now I'm on a line, so I have to make sure that interior square is very obviously there, okay? Make it really obvious. And again, don't accidentally draw a sharp sign that's this big, right? I mean, that could be probably 14 or 15 different notes because of how big that sharp sign is. Please don't do that. Make it really obvious. It belongs on that space, okay? If you've got to zoom in to do it, do what you need to do. Okay, so there's my practice. I'm just drawing sharp signs right in front of the note as such. All right, write the letter names of these sharp notes. Include the sharp symbol with the letter. When you write the names, the letter comes first and then the sharp symbol second, exactly backwards of the note. See the example above, the measure spell words. Okay, so again, off to this words thing. So it's important that you draw it like this. Okay, so for example, this is also a D sharp. Okay, I know it's confusing. The sharp sign comes before the note, but when you say it or you actually write, you know, the alpha name D sharp, it's after it. I know it's confusing. I'm sorry, but that is how it is done. If you draw it like this, for example, that is incorrect. Do not go sharp A. Okay, I know it matches and it looks perfect with the actual note right above it. That is not how you do it. It has to be after it, like so. Okay. E sharp spells the word dab, all the sharp signs in there. Okay. I'm going to do one more and then you guys can figure out the rest because this is kind of review. You're just adding sharp symbols after the alpha. Okay. Every good boy does fine. That's an F sharp. FA for face. FAC for C sharp, FACE for E sharp, one more. This is below the bottom line. The bottom line's an E. What comes before E in the alphabet? D sharp. Spells the word faced. Okay? I'm going to let you all do these. Let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 examples on your own. Gives you more practice in treble clef for actually drawing these sharp signs here. Okay? Oh, whoa, sorry, there's more. My apologies, you're doing that much. There we go. Okay? All right. Write whole notes with sharps in front of them on the correct lines or spaces to spell these words. Place the middle square of the sharp on the same line or space as the note. If there are two choices for a letter name, choose the one that you would like. Okay, so very similar to how we did this before. You're just adding sharp signs now. So there's my A, F-A, right? And now I'm going to draw a sharp sign right in front of it. If you want to like do the sharp sign first, that's totally fine. I know that that's good. Every good boy, right? So you can absolutely do it like that. There's another B, so I'm going to do another one right there, like so. However you want to do it, just make sure that you leave enough space to add the note or the sharp sign respectively. That is how you do that one, okay? Let me do one more example. Here's my G. Okay, try that again. There we go. As you can see, trying to draw stuff with a mouse is not the easiest thing in the world to do. And I'd probably explained this in class already, but again, if it's much easier for you to like take this attachment, print it on a printer, and do it with like a pencil, I'm totally fine with you doing that, but you have to have the capabilities of scanning it and sending it to me so I can grade it. So if you want to do it that way, if it's easier for you to just pencil it in there, do what you got to do, okay? But this is kind of nice because I can immediately see whenever you guys draw this in your respective pages, I can actually see you doing the work. So, you know, if you're stumped on something, I can jump in there and be like, oh, actually, you know, you're drawing this in the wrong space. Let me help you with this. So doing it in OneNote is kind of nice because we can both see the work that you're doing, okay? All right, so that's how you do sharp signs. Page number 10, a flat lowers the pitch of a note half step lower in sound. The note, which has been flatted, moves one key to the left on the piano. The circle part of the flat goes to the same line or space as the note itself. It is placed to the left or in front of the note. So, same exact concept, but it is it's the flat sign instead of the sharp sign, and again, this lowers the pitch. Okay. So here's our example. Write a flat in front to the left of each note. Again, make sure that you're doing this exactly on the same line or space. So the circle part, again, it's just talking about this little part right here has to, again, be on a line or on the space. Make it obvious so I know what you're talking about. So here's the example for the flat sign. As you can see, the line is very clearly going through the middle of this. That's what you want. And that one, I missed it, so I have to do it over again. It's totally fine. Here's that one. There's that one. Ooh, it was super high E flat there. Okay. And there. So that's just practice drawing the flats right in front of the lines in the space notes. All right. The letter names of these flatted notes include the flat symbol with the letter. When you see the names, the letter comes first and the flat symbol second, exactly backwards of the note. See the example above, right there. Measure, spell words. All right, great. So remember, we're in bass clef, so great big dogs fight animals, or always, whatever acronym you want to use. All cows eat grass. That's the lines and the spaces for bass clef. So great big dogs. All cows eat. Flat sign, because it's an E flat, right? Great big dogs fight animals. Always, whatever. Always going to say animals. All right, and great big dogs. Cool. Dead. That is the word, and they're all flat. Here we go. Next one. So again, if you're not sure how I got this as a C, my top line is an A. What comes after A in the alphabet? That's the space. So that's my B. And the next one above that, which is this C right here, or this next note right here, that's my C. So A, B, C. Okay, that's how I figured that out. That is C flat. This is A flat. This is D flat. This is G flat. This is E flat. Now, again, I just flew through that because I'm really comfortable, you know, reading in bass clef. I'm sure our baritone, tuba, bass players, trombone players are flying through this as well. But again, if you're not comfortable with this, use the Great Big Dogs Fight Always. All cows eat grass. Do the actual saying. It really helps. So great big dogs fight. Don't forget that flat sign. Great big dogs fight always. Great big dogs. All cows eat. That's the saying for that. Great big dogs. Okay, faded. Boom. All right, I'm going to let you all do these examples right here as practice. Write whole notes with flats in front of them on the correct lines or spaces to spell out the words. Place a circle part of the flat on the same line or space as the note. If there are two choices for a letter, you choose the one that you would like. So same thing with the sharps. You're just doing it with the in bass clef and with the flat sign. So again, remember, it is in bass clef. Don't put this as an A. That is not correct. That's a C. Bass clef, right? So here's my A. Make sure you add that flat sign in there. Sorry, I kind of drew mine backwards. That was strange. Whatever. Okay. Do it with the flat sign first, so I'm not trying to squeeze it in there. There we go. Flat. E. Okay. Great big dogs. All cows eat. All cows eat. And great big dogs fight animals. Yeah, I'm going to say animals. That's my saying. And the reason I actually have grown up with great big dogs, I have a Great Dane now, I had Great Danes growing up, and they don't always fight, always. But they would fight animals, I'm sure. If, you know, somebody was trying to hurt me, the dog would jump in and fight animals, right? Okay, sorry, bad analogy. Here we go. You guys can do these as practice to get these notes correct. Remember, you're drawing the note on the line or the space and including that flat sign. Make sure that it is obviously on the line or the space so I can tell, okay? All right, last page we're going to do for this block, because again, now we're talking about one more thing, and this is an alto clef. It's just another page to practice, okay? Here's what a natural sign looks like. This cancels a sharp or flat and can either raise or lower the pitch of a note half step in sound. Natural notes can either move one key to the left or right on a piano. The interior square of a natural goes on the same line or space as the note itself. It is placed to the left or in front of the note. Okay. The best way to do a natural sign, because this is it's like sort of half of a pound or a hashtag sign, right? I find it's easiest to do this. Draw an L, draw a 7. There I go. It's 2 motions, so you don't have to do like, you know, here's the square, and then I have this little hanger. It's harder to draw that way, I think, but it's L7, okay? All right, so in front here, I'm just practicing this. Whoops. Here's my natural sign. L7, L7, and so on. I'll let you guys finish the rest of these. Pretty easy to do. Right, the letter names of the natural notes include the natural symbol with the letter. When you write the names, the letter comes first and the natural symbol comes second, exactly backwards to the note. See the example above. Whoops, we forgot to do this one. That is a B natural. There it is. Okay. Okay. So here we go. Fat alley. That's our saying, right? Fat alley cats eat garbage and green birds do fly. That's the symbol we're going to do for that. Fat alley cats. This is the note below, so F is the bottom line. What comes before F in the alphabet? E spells the word ace. Okay. Here we go. This is Fat alley cats. Fat alley cats eat. Green birds do. Fat alley cats eat. And green birds do spells the word seeded. Okay. So here we go. This is I'm sorry, not great. Wrong saying. Green birds. There we go. Fat Alley. Great. Oh my God, I said it again. Green birds do fly. There we go. Get my sayings all mixed up. At least I got the letter right, right? Same note. Fat Alley. Green. Finally got it right this time. And again, this is the note below. This is an F. It comes before F in the alphabet. E spells the word baggage. Okay. All right. And again, looks like we copied and pasted this. This one spells subadages instead of cabbage. We screwed up and accidentally reversed these notes. It's supposed to spell the word cabbage, but we don't do it. So you come up with a weird one for this 7-1 bar right here. Apologies. Okay. So here is probably the second worst one to do because, again, the notes are really, really small. I'm going to zoom in just so I don't have to work quite so hard. So Fat Alley, and I do have to draw that L7 on that line to make it obvious. Green birds. And Fat Alley cats eat. Missed the line. Let's try that again. So this might be a good one to do that shapes and symbols just because these lines are so incredibly small. It's tedious, but it's only 4 examples, or excuse me, 7 examples total. So hopefully it won't be too bad for you guys. Sorry for how small it is on here. So there's Fat Alley. Green birds do. There's my D natural. Fat Alley cats eat. And there is 2 examples of what they look like in here. I'll leave y'all to do those examples right there. Zoom back out again. Okay, so that's what you're going to be doing for that page, and I think that is going to be a good stopping place for us. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. Okay, so that's a good stopping place because now we've talked about the sharps, the flats, and the naturals, 3 different clefs, natural stopping place. For our next session, we're going to start on page 11 where we're talking about intervals. This is another one that some students had a problem with, so make sure you tune into the beginning of the next video, session number 3, so I can show you how to figure this stuff out. Okay? Hope you guys have a great day. Remember, if you have questions, please message me in Teams, shoot me an email, send me a call on Teams, whichever is the most convenient for you. It is so much better if you ask the question so you understand the concept. Please do not think it's like, oh, you know, I don't want to bug him, or I don't want him to think that I'm not smart musically. Like, seriously, ask the question. I don't care if you've been playing for 12 years and you don't understand how, you know, 4/4 time works. I don't care. I want you to know the information. I want you to be a better player. It doesn't matter to me. There is no judgments here. Okay? So please ask if you have these questions. I am here to assist you and make you a better musician, both in your understanding of musical theory and obviously performing as well. So please ask the questions if you don't understand something. All right, everybody, have a good rest of the day. I'll see you in the next session. Bye.